found my thrill. That's an eye. That's an eye. Uh-oh. I miss. Send him home.
My basketball career with him, it probably started since I can remember, probably like 2. I always have a basketball in my hand, even when I was in diapers. Since I was little, I've always been around basketball.
Josh Thompson was born with a love of the game. From a young age, he always had a ball in his hands and took after his ultimate role model.
I mean, he's a splitting image of me. Everything that I watch him do on the court is some of the things that I've done when I was younger or when I played.
Well, first, when he was in high school, I remember watching, I used to watch all his films. I'll say he was a good player. Everybody remember him for his dunking.
Chandler Thompson with a... Here is Chandler Thompson, watch this baby. Chandler Thompson on a great assist from...
Crowded. I mean, you had to get here. You had to come to the JV game just to get a seat. And my father took me out over the summer and worked me out. We worked every day. I mean, I cried because I hated to do it. My dad made sure we made it to McCullough Park. He had me run the whole park. So I go from not playing to becoming an Indiana All-Star my junior year, and then a Mr. Basketball candidate my senior year.
Chandler quickly became one of the best players in the state, and so did his team, going all the way to the 1988 state finals.
It meant the world to us. I mean, this was a dream come true. For me, I wanted to win the state. I didn't want to win Mr. Basketball. I knew that everyone would remember who won the state the year, and 20 years later, they don't remember who Mr. Basketball was 20, 30 years later.
Well coached, fundamentally sound.
After leading the Bearcats to the school's 8th and most recent state championship, Chandler had to choose between Gene Katie's Purdue Boilermakers and the hometown Ball State Cardinals.
For me, I've always been the underdog, you know. So going to Ball State, people looked at us like we were the underdog. Me going to Ball State, I was the underdog. Why you choose Ball State instead of going here? I felt like Ball State was home.
In Ball State basketball's greatest era, Chandler and the Cardinals were a mid-major powerhouse, living in the local spotlight, on their way to the NCAA tournament.
I mean, no matter, we go throughout the campus, I mean, everyone knew of us. I mean, we were like rock stars, and we didn't even know it. And we felt like if we win the MAC, where are we going and who are we playing against?
Ball State drew a 12 seed and went on to upset Gary Payton's 5th-seeded Oregon State Beavers and the 4th-seeded Louisville Cardinals. Riding its best run in program history, Ball State was confident, getting ready to play the notorious UNLV Runnin' Rebels.
We felt like we had the recipe to beat them. They were a running team, they played good defense, but if you stop their fast break, you cut them down. They didn't have shooters. And we felt like if we stopped that, we could be in the game.
In a close game with just over 5 minutes left in the first half, Ball State was looking for a spark, and Chandler Thompson was the match that struck.
Paris get the ball in the corner. Paris is not a three-point shooter, so immediately I have to crash the board for offensive rebound. And the ball bounced off at the perfect spot for me. Brent Mushberger was speaking negative about me, saying, well, I heard he had this vertical, I don't believe it. And it's just like timing. I think it was just the basketball gods wanted me to put it in Brent Mushberger's face, and that's what happened.
Pass to McCurdy. High
Chandler Thompson, how do you do? Does it ever get old?
No, because it keeps me relevant, so that's why I like it.
While Ball State fell by 2 to the eventual national champions, the 1989-90 Cardinals took their place as the greatest team in Ball State history. Following a successful college career, Chandler went to Europe to play professionally. During that time, Josh was born and headed overseas to join his dad. After a 10-year career, both him and Josh returned to Indiana. The basketball focus in the Thompson family shifted to Josh at Lawrence North High School, with Chandler staying right by his side.
Going to high school, my whole objective was to go to college D1. And the older I got, the more I got better. So I didn't really get a chance until my junior year. And the time in my junior year, I played like 6 games. I was on varsity. I feel like that was my chance to shine.
I knew I wanted to stay around basketball. And so I talked to the coach, Coach Kizer from LN, and asked him if he had an opening. He had 2 openings, and I jumped on it.
It was kind of hard for me because I was younger at the time. So every time he used to get on me when I did wrong, I used to think he was getting on me as a dad instead of a coach. But the older I got, I finally realized that he was just trying to get me better as a player.
The thing with Josh was I tried to let him be him. And I also tried to tell him this is what's going to get him to the next level. Sometimes Josh wanted to do it on his own, kind of like I did, you know. But I guess that's the Thompson in both of us.
Josh was quickly coming into his own, but later in his junior season, the basketball gods stopped Josh in his tracks.
As soon as I checked in the game, I got an assist, came back on defense. I tried to go over a screen, turned my knee the wrong way, and I just felt the sharp pain.
The time was winding down. It was less than 10 seconds or something left on the clock. He was defending the player. He was stepping over the screen, and he fell. And then when he tried to stand up, I knew something was wrong.
Well, I just felt my knee shift one way and back to the other. And like after I went back to the room, I started doing high knees, started skipping. So I thought I'd be all right. And then it just kept getting worse.
We just like, don't do anything because we want to find out what's going on. He said, I think it's okay. And then we got the MRI. The MRI said it was a torn ACL. So to me, it was crushing because I didn't want it to happen to him, especially at this time of his season when he was getting the opportunity to start playing more minutes.
I remember when I first toured and we found out it was an ACL. I remember he just told me, just be ready for the rehab. Whatever you put in the rehab is what you're gonna get out. So if you put in 110%, you're gonna get out 110%. The rehab was the most challenging part because I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to run and then try to get my knee at 90 degrees. When I tore my ACL, for some reason, I never got depressed. Try to stay active as much as possible. I really didn't have fear of what if it's not the same. I just had fear if I would tear it again.
After a full recovery, Josh didn't receive a single Division I offer and chose to play at prep school for 2 years, waiting for an opportunity. Through a family connection, who else but Ball State and head coach James Whitford came calling.
Whitford told me that if I come up here, nothing's gonna be handed to me. I'm gonna have to work for everything I got. And I knew the mindset I have that I never want anything to come easy. I know I'm gonna have to work for it.
Like he tell all his walk-ons, you'll be a practice player. I can't promise you any playing time. In the moments that you think that you're doing good, it may not be good enough for us. I say you have to show them that you're capable of making a transformation into becoming a Ball State player.
All the hard work I was gonna put in, I was gonna have to do it 10 times as harder than anybody else just to get a chance. So I liked the idea, and I wanted that challenge.
He wanted to play here. He wanted to prove that he could play here. And to me, this was the hardest place for him to play by coming behind me. For me, I wanted him to go somewhere else and play, but this is where he wanted to come.
Here's the reason I came to Ball State.
Chandler's legacy only enticed Josh even more. He took a walk-on role with Ball State, and the worst looked to be behind him.
That year was like a year that I just could finally feel like what college is like. So I was just working out all year. Then sophomore year came. I remember I was kind of excited, and then I tore my ACL. So that year was just like a downfall for me.
I felt bad for him, obviously, and it's a tough break. And And, you know, I think you're always asking if that happens a second time, is this guy still going to be able to play?
I remember once I found out I tore it again, I called him instantly. I was in the training room. I called him instantly, told him I tore my ACL. We both was down a little bit, but he just told me again, just you already been here, you know what to do, you know how to get back. For some reason, I still wasn't depressed. I just knew what I did the first time to put in all the work. I was gonna do it the second time.
It was really through those experiences that I got to know him as I watched his kind of resilience. That's what really stood out to me as I first got to know him, was his toughness.
I had a knee brace on at the time, but as soon as I took the knee brace off, I got my knee back stronger, so all the fear went away.
Josh had another chance after overcoming his second ACL tear, with his eyes still set on playing for Ball State.
My mindset, I knew I dream big, I think big, so I knew if I worked, I was gonna get playing time. I don't know what type of playing time I was gonna get. I just knew I was gonna work for it. I wasn't gonna stop working until I got it. So I just kept working, and then I finally got that chance when I started playing, and that was like a huge relief for me.
There's a saying we have in the office sometimes, that Josh gets a lot of salt, not a whole lot of sugar, and really did for the first 3 or 4 years. It's great to see someone who's worked that hard as he has, and has really been as unselfish as Josh has been in his time here. He's played well in a lot of big games for us.
I'm not that parent that sat in the stands and scream and yell. I want him to be out there and be relaxed, listen to the coaches because they're coaching him. Whatever happens afterwards, I just tell him this is what I saw.
As Josh continued to fill his role, another opportunity opened up in Muncie, this one for Chandler. The head coaching spot at his alma mater, Muncie Central, something he couldn't turn down.
So I had several people contact me and say, you should, you know, it's bigger than you, it's more about the community, it's more about helping the kids here. And when I looked at it like that, and I said, yeah, you're right. And it happened. To bring back someone from Muncie that's been here, that's done it, I think that's probably one of the things that helped me get this job.
I just try to do all the right things. I really just try to make them happy, make them proud. I never thought it was gonna happen after all the downfalls I done had, but it's still crazy for me to think about. But I know that all the hard work I put in was gonna pay off eventually, so I'm actually proud that it actually happened. Going through down times, going through good times, always staying level-headed is probably why I'm the person I am today.
Every guy on our team would tell you if there's somebody they like to hang around, it's him. If there's somebody that you really need to trust, it's Josh. If he tells you something, he's a man of his word, you know, and that, to me, that's his best quality.
Again, it's basketball gods, how things work out. We didn't know that he would even have an opportunity to come here. So I just think that everything that we went through, father and son, helped him for what he's going through today.
I want everybody to remember me as somebody that never gave up, always stayed focused on their dream, and just always working hard to achieve their dreams.